Good morning! Rise and... well, kind of rise and rain. I don't know, is that a thing? It's been a while. We are way overdue for a full day of plant care, and today we're going to focus on my plant room. So we're going to look at all of the plants in this room, see if they need something. Spoiler alert, they do. We're going to give them chop and extends, repots, clean them, water them, fertilize them, whatever they might need. And then I also want to use the opportunity to maybe rearrange the room a little bit. And we are way overdue for a catch-up. I love sitting down with you guys and just talking to you about everything that has happened in my life. And a lot has happened over the last 3 months. So we're going to address all of that today as well. Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I moved into this house, it's almost, is it 4 months now? Hang on. 4. Jesus. And this room was supposed to be my office / plant room. Realistically, it's mainly a plant room. Realistically, my entire house is a plant room, but I suppose this room is extra planty. And I really love it, but it is not super functional. I don't actually work from here a lot. I usually work from the living room. I don't know, I'm just not getting the vibe. So today we need to change the vibe so that I feel more excited about actually working from here as well, on my popper desk and so on, rather than just on the dining table. So I do want to rearrange and I want to see if I can optimize it. Maybe I can create like a nice little area where I can do a lot of filming. I'm still struggling to really do filming at this new house. I don't really have like a spot, if that makes sense, and I think it would make filming much easier. And I think the main challenge with having a spot to film is that sometimes I film plants that are about this big, and then sometimes I film plants that are taller than me. How can I set up one spot that suits both of them? But you know what I mean, like have some sort of studio, if that makes sense. That's the end goal, but see how we go. First and foremost, the plants take priority. And yeah, I feel like we haven't caught up in a long time. I think the last time we really had a good catch up was still at my old house. I think it was like at the beginning of spring. I reckon it would have been half a year ago or so. And I really love it too. I just talk to you guys like you're my friend. And well, unfortunately you can't talk back, but I do read all of the comments. So we do have some sort of exchange, I think. I also want to kind of just focus on this one room today rather than doing a full day of plant care. I actually have way too many plants to do just all of it in one day these days. And you know, with the garden and the greenhouse and so on, where do I start, where do I stop? So I figured let's just focus on one room at a time, and I suppose there's plenty of plants here. It's also been kind of rainy today, but it just stopped, classic, which will make it a bit easier for the filming process. However, it's slightly annoying because I wanted the rain to water and clean my leaves. So I reckon we just take as many plants as possible outside now, so that first of all we get to kind of see the room a little bit. As part of taking them out, we'll also kind of address what each of them needs, and then we're gonna do it, right? But let's bring them out first, because the longer they stay outside, the more chances they'll be outside at the same time as it's raining. You know that moment when you put your plants out and it stops? That's literally today. So I'm gonna set this up outside and then let's do it. Okay, I just made a little bit of room outside because these plants are all quite tall. Now today there's absolutely no wind in the air, but I still don't necessarily want to risk it. So most of these plants are going to get hooked into my fence, but I needed to free up a bit of fence. All right, let's just, maybe I'll move this table over here. Anyway, I think you might not really be able to see these plants so nicely now because of the lack of light, but that's okay. So first things first, this one is my philodendron gigas. Oh, still got a bottle on it. Now the gigas has 2 shoots and both here have reached the top of the moss pole. So it's time for chop and extend, and we're going to look at it closer when we do the chop and extend. But this morning I have already cut both of the stems over here in preparation for that. Now this was actually a plant that we put on the extension as part of my very first full day of plant care. And that's where I took the extension, I potted two next to each other and then extended one in an attempt to get two plants to grow up, and it worked really, really well. So kind of full circle moment. Now this moss pot is sufficiently moist. I only watered that yesterday, so this one just goes outside for a chop and extend. Right next to that we've got the Milano. Oh, very dry, definitely needs water. Maybe I should water it before I do the chop and extend. Yeah, I'll do the... No, it doesn't matter. Definitely needs water. Now the Milano is way overdue for some work. What actually happened, there's two shoots on here. One already reached the top of the moss pile and grew off the moss pile. What is this? Oh, extra floral nectaries. Okay. Well, the other one was kind of only here-ish. No? So I bought the second shoot a little bit more time. That second shoot is now here. And that first shoot has reshot as well, which also means I have a propagation that I want to put back into the pot as well. So we're gonna definitely have to do something with her. At the very minimum, a chop and extend. These bottom leaves aren't looking the best anymore. Oh my god, it's so light, wow. Alrighty, over here the verrucosum has seen better days, but honestly, don't worry about anything that's happened down here. Focus on this. I'm just regrowing the top now. This one just goes outside. I'll hang it up on the fence for some cleaning. Alrighty. Majestic also doesn't really need anything. Probably some water and some cleaning. That's it. Oh my god. Alright, splendid. Over here, I think I need to top up the pot a little bit. It's actually quite empty. But yeah, it's not sitting very nicely in this pot, so I might need to just see if I repot this to give it more stability or something like that. It might also just be too tall, but it has about one more leaf to go until it reaches the top, so no need for extension here. But definitely clean. I'll assess the bottom leaves and all of that as well. Yeah, actually I won't repot it if it's due for a chop and extend again. Wow, looks so pretty. Alright, this is the absolute mess that is my philodendron glorious at the moment. And I'm filming a separate video on this, so we're not spending too much time here. So hot and sweaty already. So humid out there. I think we can just take her out like this. Oh, holy moly, it is so steep. It's only 19 degrees, but it is 90% humidity out there. And in here it's only 85%. Oh, I'm sure this wind is not good for the audio, but I'm a sweaty mess already. Oh, I think we just need to get used to the sweaty mess aesthetic for today's video. Okay, last one of the big ones, huh? I should have maybe given you a before, huh? Until late. Well, this is my mixed pot of crazy rubbish. My Vitarifolium. Whee! Iskandapsis. Silver Lady, Silver Ann. Honestly, do nothing for this plant, nothing. I'll get rid of all of the pots as well because I want to clean. Park this light here. Actually, we can unplug this light. This, by the way, are two of the mother lights mounted on top of each other, but they've released a new version that is actually supposed to be stackable. Here on my desk I've got a few plants, a verrucosum. Wow, you can't see anything. Take them from there and put them here so you can actually see something. I think that's a bit better. This one was called verrucosum titanium. Now it is showing the first little bit of sign in my care. I think some of these smaller plants I might actually just take to the sink. I have a little oblique cutting propagating in filthy water over here. I have some Syngonium styramachii cuttings also propagating in super filthy water. Like, look how filthy my water is. And then, yeah, don't judge me, but yes, this is a Hoya. Somebody gave me a Hoya cutting and I politely said thank you. And I think it would actually look cool in my greenhouse eventually. Oh, and sorry, that third plant that I kind of just ignored, that is a plant I'm doing a separate video on, so stay tuned. Is Frideck, and after I released my last video where I showed you all of my struggle with the Frideck, lots and lots of people recommended less humidity, so I moved it out of the cabinet and it's now on my desk. And just a few Adansonii propagations also in filthy water. I've got my verrucosum over here, actually in need for an extension, so I just have to put you back here. That lighting was just not it. This is my verrucosum, my second verrucosum, teeny tiny pot over here. So yeah, and it reached the top of its moss pole, so I think it is time for an extension. But as part of the extension, it also won't fit where it is anymore, so I need to rearrange. We put that out. Last one. And we're ignoring the cabinet for today, I think. I think that's a whole different video. We're just keeping the cabinet as it is, because once I start looking into the cabinet, we might never finish. This is my El Choco. Look at this latest leaf. So sexy. And noise backsides. Could probably do with a bigger pot as well, but you know I like to push it. Guys, this one, Moss Street Fragrances. So good. Oh, I'm such a sucker for like diffusers and candles and anything that smells good. People. Big fan here. It's like an evaporative cooler, so you can put water in it and then it doesn't just fan, like it doesn't just create airflow, it actually cools down the air, but the air isn't so super dry because evaporative water. But I think no longer required as part of this upcoming season. I'll replace it. I'll probably put my Dyson in here because then it can also be used as a heater. Let me show you what's happening. So I've got my desk, chair, rug over there. Nice window. I want to utilize this window more. And I've got a little storage cabinet that is not very useful, and a little painting. That's the door. That's one wall, two wall, beautiful. Like what was it, like the, you know, the switch box? Why does it need to be in this room anyway? And then the IKEA cabinet, and then we're back to the window. So that's the state of the room for now. Super hot in here. So I'm gonna go outside and we're gonna get on top of the plant care and we're gonna have a bit of a chat, and then after the plant care we know what needs to go into the room, and then we probably know better how to set it up and so on. Alrighty, enough embracing of the sweaty aesthetic. I'm gonna wear a hat. Got a big tub of aeroid mix, got a couple of garden stakes, cable ties and some scissors, and let's go. Maybe I need a chair. Quick background on the Gigas. I gave you a little bit of background earlier already, but I've done so that was one of my first plants where I put two poles next to each other. So when I did the last chop and extend, I put the bottom and the top next to each other, and each had one shoot on it. Now, because each shoot then found the extension, this extension now has two shoots on it, right? So with this chop and extend, I'm now doubling the plant impact, if that makes sense, you know what I mean? It hasn't really sized up as well as I would have hoped it to size up, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I think it's still good. I like how little space it takes up. It's a very vertical plant, so it fits perfectly in that room and doesn't take up too much space. But I also think as the plant grows taller, it gets access to less light at the top, hence a bit of a reduction in leaf size that we're seeing. But look how well this plant has rooted into the pole. That's pretty good. I mean, look at this. And these are the roots that we're relying upon as part of the chop and extend now. I'm not going to walk you through all of my chop and extend steps. I've done it plenty of times on my channel now, so it's in my moss pole tutorial playlist if you want to learn more. But yeah, I want to really catch up with you and talk to you about life, if that's okay with you. So where do we even start? Because I don't remember the last time we've had a life update, but I don't think we've had a life update in 2024 just yet, and it is mid-March, so a lot has happened. Hello, darling. Are you going to behave today? Or are you going to go explore again? Give Daddy a little heart attack, huh? Sitting in the neighbor's garden. So 2024 so far was really good. Let's just start off with the really obvious one instead of going chronological. I quit my job. This is my full-time job now, looking after plants. Well, not looking after plants. Content creation is my full-time job, and honestly, it takes up my whole life. Like, it's not like I'm bored at all. I'm actually really busy and I have so many projects that I want to do, and almost like not enough time to do all of the projects, despite the fact that I have so much more time available now, right? So I think it was just really time for that step, because I was really struggling to actually create the content that I want to create with the time that I have available, and I was really struggling giving it my all at work, at the work that I quit. It was a job in financial planning. I was really struggling to give it my all over there without neglecting my passion project, which is plants in this channel, right? So something had to change, and I did a lot of thinking over Christmas and the holidays and so on, and I've kind of came to the conclusion that this is probably an opportunity I will only get once in my lifetime, like being able to turn my passion into a job, and it would be so incredibly stupid of me not to take advantage of that opportunity, right? Because I can always still find another corporate job at any time in my life, hopefully. I mean, I'm assuming. But, you know, who knows how long my channel is doing well for. You know, I'm obviously subject to the algorithm and so on as well. Maybe one day you guys are just sick of me and don't want to watch me anymore and so on. So I think I just needed to use the opportunity now that I have it. And look, the goal, I honestly don't know what the goal is, to be really fair. I mean, of course I would love to be able to make enough money so I can put some money down for a house. And that's obviously my end goal, but there's also so much more to life than that. I know that even with my corporate job, it would have probably taken me another 20 years to save up enough money for a house deposit, given how crazy the prices are. So realistically, the only way to achieve my goal of owning a house would be to have 2-3 jobs, which I have done for the last 2 years now. I've had 2 jobs. I have been doing content and had my finance job, and it's a lot. There is no room for life. I mean, I'm glad, as in one of the 2 jobs was a passion project kind of thing, right? So this job over here is fun. So while I'm really busy, I'm enjoying it. And it would be terrible if I'd have 2 jobs and I don't enjoy either of them. Not like I didn't enjoy the other one, but you know what I mean. It's not like, it's this whole thing like, do you work to live or do you live to work? And I want to work to live. So yeah, I was like, you know what, even with 2 jobs, I'm not really getting anywhere near my goal of potentially being in a position to own a house one day. So if I'm not getting anywhere close to my long-term goal, then at least I need to make sure that I smash all of my short-term goals. I enjoy my life in the short term, in the here and now, right? And yeah, I thought about it and I was like, well, what would make me enjoy my life the most? Just the thought of, like, let's say quitting this content creation job to fully focus on a corporate career did not really make me happy. So I decided to quit. You know what I mean? I want to be excited. I want to wake up and be motivated to start the day and do the things that I want to do and so on. And you know what, maybe I'll just do this for a year or 2 and then maybe I've got this out of my system and then I feel like working at a company again. There's so many benefits to working in a company, and I really enjoyed my corporate life as well, to be honest. I think it was cool and it's nice to work with people, you know. It could be really isolating to work by myself here, but luckily I have good friends and a housemate now as well. But yeah, we'll see how we go, honestly. I don't really have a super long-term vision for this because I would have never guessed that this is the position I'm in this time last year, right? So, and I would have never guessed that, I absolutely wouldn't have guessed this like 5 years ago. So I have no idea where I'm going to be in 5 years. So I'm just really focusing on enjoying the moment, if that makes sense. It sounds so cliche. It sounds so like wanky, Instagrammable, motivational quote, but sometimes there's a bit of merit behind these quotes, you know. So I suppose that is a huge thing that happened, right? Like huge. And I hope it's going to impact all of us positively. I really want to spend a little bit more time on myself, you know, focus on myself and not just on running 2 jobs, not just having 2 jobs that literally took up my whole life. And oh my god, we're getting way too deep here now, but like it's been 2 weeks of not having my corporate job, and already I've asked myself so many questions and thought things through so much more, because I actually have time to think about things rather than just rushing from one thing to the other. And I don't want to rush. I want to live consciously, you know what I mean? I want to remember my 30s. I don't want to be like, yeah, my 30s, oh, I was working a lot, you know? So I'm learning a lot about myself. I'm learning a lot about what I want in life, what is important to me and so on. All questions that I kind of didn't have time to think about because I was just hustling too hard, you know what I mean? Kind of defeating the purpose. And sorry if this is way too deep. Got a big jug of just propagations here. There are 2 Milano propagations that came from that big Milano I'm about to bring out. And that was just to buy the other shoot some time, right? So let me get into this and see what's happening here. Jesus. There's also some other cuttings in there that are not Milano. Okay, these are the Milanos. Nice. Let's see what I can do with them. Alrighty, next one, the Milano. Just showing you over here where I did the cut. I don't know if you can see this, but I cut it. Some leaves are really damaged as well, but I think it's just, oh, maybe this is spider mites. We will find out. So, why am I telling you all of this? Well, first of all, to thank you, because I would have never been able to actually quit my job to pursue my passion if it wasn't for people like you supporting me. And I keep saying it, the best way for you guys to support me is honestly to just watch my videos. I'm not the biggest fan of fan funding, I think that's what it's called, you know, when like Patreon or memberships and so on. I know a lot of people have asked me before and said, oh, you should do that, like I would want to support you and so on, but I am still a little hesitant on that. So the best way for you guys to support me is honestly to just watch my videos. If nobody would watch my videos, I couldn't be doing this, right? So you watching my videos is amazing. I couldn't ask for anything else. And yeah, so first of all, thank you for already having watched my videos so that I'm even in a position to do this. And thank you in advance for hopefully continuing to watch my videos, because that is now the majority of my income. And of course, I mean, it's my decision. You don't need to support me. I just hope you want to, right? Because yeah, I mean, the more support you show, the more effort I am able to put into this channel, the more I might be able to outsource certain things and improve on things. I do everything at the moment myself, because being a creator in Australia is not that easy. It's not that easy to monetize content. I can only monetize YouTube, which is the smallest of my platforms, which is unfortunate. I can't monetize Instagram, I can't monetize TikTok. The only thing I can do on Instagram and TikTok is like paid partnerships and so on. So if you see any paid partnerships, please support, help me so I can get more. If I notice within the next half year or so that this isn't necessarily working out, I do need to think about an alternative and need to think about, okay, do I had a good time, had a good half a year, so, but it's maybe time now to, think about a corporate gig again. So honestly, I don't know. We could be sitting here in half a year's time and my channel is thriving. We could be sitting here in half a year's time and I had a good half a year, but I gave it a crack and I decided that it's not actually a sustainable career in the longish run, right? So here we go. I reckon I'll just pop everything into the same pot. I'm just gonna really fill that pot. Let's do that. I feel very privileged to be in that position of actually taking one of my passions, my hobby, and turning it into a business. That is honestly something I always wanted to do in life, something I never thought I'd be able to do in life, and you guys have enabled that, so I'm really grateful. But I also want to look out for alternatives. I always like to think of the next step and what's next and what could come after. And I would love to find an actual career in plants. Like, who says that you can't do business management just in a plant business rather than a financial advice business? Because I wasn't super interested in this subject matter. Like this financial, when I worked in financial advice, I wasn't a financial advisor. I was working in operations. And I suppose every business has operations. Maybe some businesses just operate in the plant space. So yeah, I don't know. I'm really keen to try out a few things. What's happening here? So yeah, I'm gonna have to explore those sort of options as well, potentially, because why not? I have actually had a few other really cool things happen to me, and they kind of all play into this. They weren't like, let's say, like a deciding factor to me quitting. There was heaps of reasons why I did that, but I was on the telly a couple of times, and I think that would be something cool. I would love to do something like that. I would love to turn my passion for plants into a more general media career, maybe. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I love to be like in a Netflix show, Netflix if you're watching, or you know what I mean? I don't know, I love these sort of things. So that was really fun to, first of all, the filming, and I think you've seen it, I uploaded a video about it. The filming in itself, but also just seeing how professional production companies operate and so on. Like, I would love that. I would love to have my own show and host it and so on. I mean, obviously delusional, but you got a dream, you know. I just feel like this is something I would enjoy doing, and it would stay in the same realm, but it's not just relying on social media in itself, right? Because social media has a lot of cavities. Like, imagine people some people rely on TikTok for their income, and now TikTok might get banned and so on, right? Those are all risks you need to consider when you make your business rely on social media. I do need to diversify my business and not just rely on social media, but I still would love for all of this to be relating to plants, kind of. Anyway, I'm obviously just waffling on over here. You can tell it's only been 2 weeks, right? I really haven't figured it out at the moment. I just want to kind of go with the flow and actually enjoy this time, because I just don't know how long it's gonna last. So I want to make the best out of this and really enjoy being able to do whatever I want to do. And yeah, see how long that lasts. But for now, sometimes, you know, ignorance is bliss. And then I was also on live television. So you know about the Garden Hustle one because I uploaded a video, but you do not know about the one on live television. It was actually ABC, and ABC is like the Australian broadcasting channel, so the government broadcasting channel over here, so really good. And I was there on the weekend breakfast telly, and it was live. Can you believe that? I honestly was so nervous because I can have a bit of a filthy mouth sometimes, you know. I like to swear, and it's like, you cannot swear. It's live television. So I was really nervous. I was nervous about just saying the wrong thing. So just in general coming across as a total idiot. I think I did okay. I don't think it is available to watch online anywhere, which is great news. But I was nervous as hell until we actually started talking, and then I really, really liked it. So I had such a good time, and I would love to do something like that again. And obviously I get better over time and less nervous maybe and so on, but that was such a cool experience and such a cool achievement for myself. I'm just like, I did that. I went on live television and I didn't mess up. I spoke about it a couple of times, but I have been so nervous about talking on social media. Like, it took me what is happening here? It took me over 2.5 years to be confident enough to say a single word on social media, because I was so worried about how I'm gonna be perceived, if people might dislike my accent, or people are like, why do you talk like this, or something like that, you know what I mean? Or like they don't like my choice of words, or they don't like that sometimes I say, sometimes, you know, my brain is sometimes my mouth is a bit faster than my brain and so on. So I was just like, oh, I'm really nervous about how people are going to perceive me. I'm so nervous about every word that I say, that I might get like turned around or misunderstood, or, you know, somebody doesn't understand my kind of humor or something like that. So for me to actually be on television and talking to, I don't know how many people are watching this, I was just so proud of myself, you know what I mean? It's something I would have never thought I would actually do. I wasn't even confident talking on a video that I then get to edit and put up on the internet. So obviously exposure therapy over here after almost 2 years that I've had this channel now. After 2 years of having this channel, I've grown a lot as a person. So this is more than just growing plants for me. This is me growing as a person, getting more comfortable in front of the camera, and maybe that leads to something else, right? So yeah, I just feel like I had a lot of time to think and be grateful for the things I have achieved, and really, like, you know, be proud of myself. I have the tendency to really undersell myself. I have the tendency to really be doubtful about everything that I do and hate things. Like, honestly, like so many videos where I just feel super nervous releasing it. Tim actually has to watch every single video before I upload it, because I would be too nervous to release a video without somebody having like proof watched it and tell me that I'm not delusional, you know what I mean? Sorry guys, I did not want to turn this into a therapy session, but that's what it's become. Very awesome. Alright, let's give you a bigger pot first, because you can hardly stand. Alright, and then probably the last thing that has happened. Oh, and I also created a second channel. In case you don't know, it's, I think at this stage, called More SPG, because you're going to get more Sydney, more plant, and more guy. So follow me on my second channel if you aren't already, because, well, now that I do content creation as a full-timer, I don't want to be put in a box. I want to create all the content I feel like creating. And yeah, so I was inspired to do that by my latest trip to Adelaide. So I was invited by Julique, which is an Australian skincare brand. Skincare brand and me, yes, weird, right? Because they're not actually just about skincare. I worked with them a couple of times now, and never, ever when I worked with them did they actually ask me to push a specific product, or were like, oh, this is your call to action, like use code XYZ for XYZ off. Not at all. They're not that kind of company. They genuinely want to promote like a nice lifestyle and taking care of yourself. Yeah, so they invited me to their farm in Adelaide, and I was like, oh my god, and it was a big launch of their new products, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna be the odd one out. Like, what am I supposed to do there? Am I an influencer? I'm not an influencer like in that way, or like, you know, I was a bit nervous, of course. I think by now you know that I feel nervous about most things in life for some stupid reason. Anyway, I was quite nervous that I want to go there, and they're like, who are you? Like, what are you doing here? Oh shit, we thought you were better than this. But they were so nice, and the weekend was so good, and I had such a good bloody time. And I loved going to their farm, and I loved talking to their farm manager and learn from her. And just, you know, it's like the same thing that I did with the Botanic Gardens. Like, go to the Botanic Gardens and learn from horticulturalists over there. Like people that have done this for so long. So I really, really like getting different insights from different people, and putting all of the puzzle pieces kind of together. So first of all, of course, I enjoyed the farm and so on, right? That was kind of like the part that I came there for. It's like, well, at least I have a farm there. I can go through the farm. I can do a farm tour and so on. Learn from somebody who's been doing this for a long time and so on. And you know, that will be cool. But I learned so much more. I actually learned a lot about self-care. Sounds so cliche again. Apologies for that. I'm like literally the cliche man today. But I learned so much about self-care and how self-care is actually so similar to plant care. Just that I don't practice it as much. And I was like, why? Why don't I practice it as much? I take the best care possible of my plants. And then when it comes to me, like, I don't. Like, why wouldn't I treat myself the way that I treat my plants? Yeah, it made me think a lot about myself in the way that I sometimes think about myself and all of that. And it's time to change that. The other thing that I learned was there was a lot of other influencers over there. And obviously they were all fashion, beauty. I think one was a chef. He was really cool. But they're obviously all fashion, beauty, lifestyle. Like the sort of influencer you would expect at an influencer event. So I've initially thought, oh my god, I would be the odd one out. I wasn't aware, but I was called out for it a couple of times. When they asked me what I do, I was very, very self-deprecating in the way that I explain my channel, my online presence and all of that. And they're like, why do you say it like that? Like, why do you say it with this negative connotation? And I was like, oh, I didn't realize I did, kind of, you know, like I didn't consciously do it. And then when they actually saw my numbers, and numbers are just numbers, right? I don't want to be here like, oh my god, bragging, but they saw my numbers and they were like shocked. They're like, holy shit, you are probably one of the most followed people of this whole event. And there's people that have been doing this for 7 years full time. And it was my first week of doing this full time. And I felt like a fraud being there. And they're like, you're doing so well. And like, it was really nice to actually hear from other people that, you know, I have built something nice over the last few years. Honestly, this is 100% turning into a therapy session. I'm so sorry. But I just feel like I want to share with you where I'm at, so you get to know me better, right? Like, I think that's what it's all about, connecting, so you guys know where I'm coming from, you understand my sense of humor a little bit better, and so on, right? So yeah, so that actually gave me a lot of confidence, but at the same time it also made me realize that, wow, if somebody with like 10% of my audience can do this full time for 7 years already, and they didn't even do YouTube, that was just Instagram, right? It's like, if it wasn't for YouTube, I could not do this full time. I could only do this full time because of YouTube. How do you do this full time without YouTube? How do you do? I genuinely don't understand. With 10% of my audience, like I just didn't know. And then I realized, oh, I'm in the wrong niche. Now, of course, I don't want to be in a niche just for the sake of there being money in it, right? But honestly, I reckon plants is like, if you want to do something full-time, plants is a very, very tough niche to be in, because yeah, there's just not much money in it, and that's okay. Like, I don't want to be the person just upselling products left, right and center. That's not what I want. I'm only showing you products that I genuinely use, right? And yeah, of course I use a lot of products as part of my plant care, and you guys ask a lot about the products, so why not put one and one together and be like, well, if you want to know the products and I'm already using the products, might as well get the company to pay me to talk about it, because I need to be a little bit more, I need to be more business savvy on this, right? So yeah, I was like, you know what, I don't actually want to be put in a box with my content, but at the same time, obviously you guys are here to follow me for my plants. So that's where kind of the idea of that second channel came from, that gives me creative freedom to do whatever I want. So for example, that influencer event, I vlogged the whole event over 3 days, and that's going to be on my second channel because it's not directly linked to plants, right? I did a farm tour, that will be on my main channel because that's directly linked to that. But yeah, hopefully as part of my new lifestyle, I can travel a little bit more, explore more, do more things. And I want to share that with you. That is my job, content creation. So I need to actually create content, and I need to diversify my content so that, first of all, I can branch into different niches and hopefully get more opportunities, but at the same time also I can keep it interesting for myself. I am worried about doing plants full time because it used to be my passion, it used to be my outlet, right? It's the thing that I do to get away from my job, and now it's my job. So I need to be careful. I can't make my entire personality being a plant person. There needs to be more to life than just looking after plants. It's my passion, it's my profession now as well. It's something I feel very deeply towards, and something I love doing, but this can't be the only thing I do in life. So if I do other things in life, then I should also try and create content about them, I think, right? Just in an attempt to actually be a full-time content creator. And I hope you're not mad at me for that. Alrighty, done with this one too. I think we're done with the repotting part, no? I think so. So let's clean this up a little bit. So these bottom parts I will bring to Timmy's later. Wow, how many cable ties can somebody drop? I think I'm doing it again. I think I'm really self-deprecating as I talk to you about being self-deprecating. I'm feeling good about this decision, don't get me wrong. I just have the tendency to think about the worst case scenario and play that in my head over and over again. But in the grand scheme of things, I'm an overthinker. I would have not come to that conclusion if I wouldn't have thought this through very, very thoroughly. So yeah, don't worry, it's a thought I've been having for a while, and I'm glad I made that decision, for sure. Don't get me wrong about that one. I'm very, very excited, but I'm also very, very much aware of the situation and the pressure that puts on me to now really make this work, kind of. But no risk, no fun. Alrighty, now let's give all of them a quick spray, because I don't think this rain thing is gonna happen. Alrighty, my work is done here. Oh, hang on, one more here. Alrighty, we are back in here. It's time to give this room a bit of a deep clean. Plants just make everything so filthy. I think that covers that quite well. Now, the other big thing that happened over the last 3-ish months is my mom was here to visit me, so that was really nice. That was the first time she visited me since I'm a plant person. Last time when she visited, I literally just started my plant collection. I remember, I think, the last week that she was here, I made my first moss pole. So, escalated a little bit in the meantime. And yeah, it was awesome to show her. I mean, she's seen it online and so on, but you know, to have her here, show her my house, and then, you know, I obviously told her about me quitting my job as well. I was still working at that stage. I actually had my last week at work the week after my mom left. So not the best timing, but that's just how it worked out. Like, it was awesome to tell her in person and then be able to show her what exactly that entails. Because, you know, she's a different generation. You know, like, she didn't grow up with the internet like I did, so I think for her it's not necessarily super intuitive that this could be an actual job and a career. To be honest, it's not even that intuitive for me. I think I'm still fairly conservative when it comes to these sort of things, but like, it's always emotional versus logical brain, right? My logical brain is like, yeah, there's thousands of people that make a living online. The whole world is online. Everything is digital these days. And then the other part of my brain is just like, what are you doing? But keep going in circles on that topic, am I? So yeah, she was here, it was awesome. It was really nice to show her Sydney yet again. I mean, she's been here 7-8 times or so, so she's had plenty of time in Sydney. But I want to show her like my version of Sydney, right? Like, not necessarily the touristy side of Sydney, but kind of like what I like to do. So I took her to the botanic gardens, I took her to some of the nurseries, like kind of just like a day in the life, you know? So she gets to actually see what my life is like over here. And I think she had a really good time as well. So that was really nice. Unfortunately, she just came here by herself. My sister has 2 young children, so it's a bit trickier for her to travel, but I would have loved to see my sister as well, so, and the children, of course. So yeah, definitely I'm planning a trip back to Germany, but at the same time I'm also like, oh my god, I can't just keep going to Germany every year. I want to travel the world, but this time I won't have a job, which means I won't get holiday payment. Which is not a good thing, guys. Which really just means that, yeah, what does that mean? When I go there, I'm gonna film. That's what it means. Okay, now let me think about all of this. I don't want to have the desk back near the window again. It was good for the plants to stand on, but it was also a little bit too tall. I think if I have something lower, I can actually fit more plants there. I'm also thinking the IKEA cabinet should be in the darkest part of the room, because the IKEA cabinet does its own lighting and so on, right? So it doesn't need to have any it doesn't need to have any daylight. So I'm thinking this could go. I was actually thinking the IKEA cabinet here. So yeah, probably my next Europe trip is gonna be very different, because I'm probably gonna go and meet up with some people. Royce, if you're watching, I'm coming. I'll definitely let you know once I booked tickets, because you know all the botanic gardens and I want to go to all of them and film. But yeah, anyway, no plans for now, and to be honest, with this big career change, or with this huge decision on career, I really need to focus on building that new career. I can't go on holiday straight away. Hello, my baby. You want to go through that window, don't you? I know you. Actually, I need to look at that fly screen situation. Sorry about the backlight. Yeah, I don't have fly screens on here, and Brad has noticed that he can just jump out here. Yeah, naughty you. You know, Daddy is very protective of you, my darling. You can't go out there, yeah? What's that tail movement, huh? Daddy is too protective. I'm too worried. I know you would literally smash everything out there. There's no concern. Yes, I know you're a survivor, you're a fighter, you're a big boy. But Daddy has worries, you know, and it's not good as well. It's not good. You just stay here, yeah? Stay here with me, okay? Alright, actually not right here though, because, come on. Come on, come on. You got there. Please ignore the inside of this shelf at the moment. This is also not the right shelf for this purpose, I think. But it's the best I can do, I think. Actually, I should check upstairs if I can do better. But for now, this is what we've got. So let's be grateful. Yay! Wow, overthinking Jan is already overthinking about all of these things I said in the last hour. And I'm in my head making decisions already, what part I'm gonna edit out and what part I'm gonna keep in. But it feels right to be a little bit more open and honest with you guys. If this is actually my career, then, you know, I gotta do it. And I gotta do it right. But of course, I think now more than ever, I would love your feedback. And I don't mean your feedback on whether I should have quit my job or not. I mean your feedback on content. Is this too much? Like, are you interested in learning a little bit more about me? My core content will always be around plants. Probably 50, 60, 70% about indoor plants, 30% about more outdoor plants, depending on the season. In winter, I'll be talking more about indoor plants than in summer, for example, right? A lot of moss poles and so on. That will always be the same. But what sort of content do you want to see? I mean, on this particular channel, like what's a good medium? Like, is this too much guy and not enough plant? And then what about the second channel? What would you like to see on the second channel? I mean, I really haven't made a proper plan or strategic plan about that second channel. The whole purpose of that second channel is to not have a plan, to give myself the creative freedom to create whatever I feel like in the moment. So if I feel like I need to do a vlog on what I eat in a day, then so be it, right? I just don't want to be put in a box. I want to be able to explore different content and see if you like it and see if I like it, right? And I think this channel is a little too niche to really explore that far. But I will also try and explore a little bit within the realm of the Sydney Plant Guide channel. Kai, how do we feel about this? I actually feel pretty good. I like it there. What do you think? It's good. Kind of the first thing that you see is that filthy glass panel, but I can work on that, right? Maybe not today. As I said, the cabinet is a project for another day. But I kind of like it here. Okay. Righty, now I'm just bringing all of the stuff back in because I reckon the plants would have had enough time out there. And then obviously the plant placement. I need to have the plants in here to understand which plants should go where. Alrighty, let's bring the plants back. I'm sorry, but this has got to be one of the nicest plants ever. Look at this leaf. Right, and the majestic can go here instead. Can you tell I'm avoiding the big plants? Yeah, because they're in the corner.
Yeah, that's what I mean, like
When I move them around, it looks much bigger, huh?
wow.
Yeah. Those were the two biggest ones, so glad I got those done. But honestly, 2 plants and the whole room is full. You have no idea. This splendid is pushed so far into the corner. It looks tiny now, but when I take it out, it's like ginormous. Ginormous. Right, I do think the Milano could probably go on a little stand. Oh, conveniently, I have one here. To be honest, I think that Gigas could go on a stand too. Getting there. Okay, exciting news. The next plant I'm about to bring in looks very sad and ugly. It's because I just chopped it about a month ago and it had no roots and I was so nervous about it. I just saw the first little evidence of roots. So I'm pretty thrilled. Let me bring it in. Alright, let me show you. Where was it? Yeah, very proud moment. A root! Right here. You can probably not see it. Anyway, that's good news. I think it's been a month. Wow. Hello, light. Come on, do something. Terrible lighting. I know you can't really see this side so well, but it's very hard filming against the light. So I'll just set it up and then I'll show you. I think I don't like where I positioned the IKEA cabinet. I think it needs to move back. Okay. I really don't like it. Really, really don't like it. So... Sorry, I've gone really quiet on you guys. Just this sort of decision making requires my attention. I love it when I just do a whole lot of work just to undo it. But look, I gained insight. I know what I don't like. Wow, you're so incredibly crooked. I feel like I've been working on this all day and I'm gonna end up... Like it's gonna end up looking the same. Like no difference. I suppose I got some plant care in itself done, right? I mean, it didn't look bad before, did it? It was just... I'm an ungrateful once more. I mean, I also just need to accept the fact that these plants will just need a little bit of time to grow again. I can't chop some of my plants in half and then wonder why there's empty corners. Why is it empty? Alright, let's try this again. This time with the same setup than before, so can't be all too surprising. Yeah, I like this. It's good. Alrighty, I think that is it for now. As I progress through each room and things change in each room, chances are that some plants will also kind of exchange rooms, if that makes sense. So at the end of the day, actually hardly any difference. I really just swapped the desk with the little shelf. Let me show you. So the desk used to be here and the shelf was here and now switched there. So that way, when I'm sitting on my desk and I have my camera set up on my desk, this is my backdrop and the light comes from one side, which hopefully makes good lighting for videos. We'll see. I'm sure it will change, but I'm exhausted. This was exhausting because it's so humid. I feel like I lost like 2 liters of water or something like that. So it's time for me to call it a day. Thanks for listening to me. I'm excited what the future holds. Big new chapter in life for me and I really hope you're gonna come along. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe and leave a nice comment and I'll see you next time. Bye.